Okay, so today's article starts out by saying, you enjoyed the movie and are especially crazy about its special effects.
Right.
Okay, so special effects, usually used as a plural noun, is an image or a sound that is created on a computer and used in TV, movies, radio to represent something real. Think of an explosion. Boom. You don't want to make a real explosion, so you make it on the computer. Or something imaginary, like a monster. Monsters obviously aren't real, so you make it on the computer.
That's right, or dragons or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so special effects we see a lot in movies nowadays. Now the article then says, you know, a lot of the action must have been filmed in front of a green screen. Okay, so here is the Hollywood secret.
Right.
Okay, how do they make these monsters and the explosions come to life? They film it in front of a green screen. Now, a green screen is basically a technique in film and video where people, like a subject, they stand in front of, it could be a blue or green screen actually. And that way, they can change the background with the computer. So, for example, it will look like the actors or the people in front of the camera are in a different place or they're doing different things. They're in different kinds of settings. So that means that the people standing in front of the camera don't have to really go to the beach or something. They can just change the background with the computer.
I'll let you guys in on a secret.
Yeah, what is it?
We are in front of a green screen.
That's right. Cinema secrets.
Okay, so movies are often filmed in front of green screens because special effects can be hard to film in real life. So here in the article it says, this makes you wonder, why are the screens used for special effects bright green?
Yeah, why the color green?
Yeah.
Why not white or pink or something?
Or red or purple?
Yeah.
I bet we've got more answers for you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's first take a look at our choices. It says A, because classical cinema never featured this color. Okay. When we talk about classical here, it means something that's traditional or something that has been respected and like for a very, very, very long time. It's also kind of highly admired as well. So it's something that's been done a certain way for a long, long, long period.
Okay, so next we're going to learn about the word cinema. Okay, so we use this word cinema as a noun, and it can have a couple of meanings. Here, we're using it as the art of making films, or the certain way that films are made, which cameras are used, and what colors we use, that sort of thing. Kind of like the technique of making films. Now, cinema is also another word for movie theater, but not very common. And it can also be used to talk about the whole film industry in general. Okay, so back to our question. Why do we use bright green screens?
Okay, well, the next choice is B, because this shade of green isn't recognized by cameras.
Oh.
Recognize means to know and remember something or someone. So here in the article, it means that this color of green that we see in the green screens, the camera doesn't know or doesn't pick up or cannot sense it, it cannot pick it up. For example, we could say, I couldn't recognize Joe with his hat on.
Okay, so the cameras actually just don't see the green. Interesting. Okay, so back to our answers here. Answer C. Because this color contrasts with those of human features. Okay, so let's explain what we're saying here a little bit. When something contrasts, or when two things contrast, they are very different from each other, especially in an obvious way. So here are the things you can see on humans: hair, skin, eyes, that sort of thing. Those human features are very different from the color bright green. That's what we're saying. As another example, we could say the black car contrasted with the bright white snow. You can see that they're very different, right? Okay.
Well, I would probably think maybe C, because I don't know anybody that has eyes that green or hair that green. So
me
what do you
neither.
think?
I don't know anyone with bright green skin.
Yeah, so maybe.
Yeah, answer C. Are we right?
Yeah, okay, let's see. It says, congratulations if you guessed C.
Yeah!
Yay, we're so smart.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so C, remember, was because this color contrasts or is very different from human features. Now, the article also says the color of green screens doesn't naturally occur in human eyes, skin, or hair tones.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a really difficult color to see in humans, basically.
Right.
So yeah, it makes sense. So that's why it says this makes it easy for it to be completely replaced without any part of an actor's body being changed too. So when you film in front of a green screen, you have to make the lines very clean. So luckily we don't have any green tones in us. Otherwise, maybe a part of our arm is going to be keyed off inside of the background.
You might notice that when we do these videos, we never wear green. Yeah, and that's why. So here's what all that means. When people stand in front of a green screen, the camera will take a picture or a recording. Next, an editor can look at the recording on a computer. Then the editor can remove all the green parts of the recording and keep the people. And then instead of putting the green screen back, they can put something else behind the people. So it's really interesting because your body doesn't have any bright green, the editor won't change your body when they're working. It stays the same. Yeah.
So it makes it easier for them to work with.
Right.
Next it says to create special effects, first one specific color in a photo or some footage must be selected. Okay, so this is quite hard. When you do special effects, it's very technical. So you choose a specific color. Specific here just means something very special or particular. So you choose a special color, a particular color.
Yeah, so now, just that one color.
Just that one color.
Right.
For example, we can say when your mom gives you something to buy, it doesn't mean...
There's something specific to buy.
When your mom gives you something specific to buy, it doesn't mean she just wants you to buy anything around. She wants you to buy what she told you. So maybe she told you to get eggs, or maybe she told you to get milk. So you have to go get that. You can't get whatever or something else.
If she wants eggs and milk, you can't go home with bread.
Exactly.
Right? You just need those two specific things. Okay, what example could we give?
For example, we could say the teacher gave us a specific topic to talk about with our classmates.
So if she says you have to talk about history, you can't talk about science.
Exactly.
Okay. So we also learned about the word footage. Now, footage is a noun, and it's the scenes or the actions a person does in a film or in a video. Now, footage usually describes all the things that are recorded before they get edited. So maybe like 6 hours of recording. But you don't see all of that in a movie. So after it gets edited, it's kind of like we call it a movie, but before it's edited, we call it footage.
All right, so next it says, this color will then be made transparent so that another image or video footage can show up in its place. So transparent just means something that you can see through, it's clear. So for example, glass is usually transparent. We can see through the glass.
Okay, so if you think about it right now, we've chosen the color green to take out.
So by green.
By green, now it's sort of just clear. There's nothing really behind us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, we also use the phrase so that in that sentence. Now we use this phrase to say that one thing or one action makes another thing or another action possible. Now here, after making the color or footage transparent, it's possible to put another color or image behind it or in its place. For example, here's another example. Trevor is leaving early so that he can make it to his doctor's appointment on time. He's leaving early to make the doctor's appointment possible.
That's right. Now, when something shows up, this phrase just means to arrive or appear.
Right.
So for example, we can say, please show up to dinner on time. Okay. Or we can also say, these marks didn't show up until yesterday.
Okay, so you can remove all the green when you're editing and put anything in its place. So you can, once it's transparent, you can put blue or a beach or a balloon or something in its place.
An exploding building, whichever.
Right, okay, so this process, it has a name, and we're going to learn what that is here. It says this editing process is called chroma keying, but it can be used to replace any color besides green. Okay. Okay, we're talking about the verb edit in this sentence. When you edit something, you prepare something by changing it to make it better or different. Now, if you have many things, you can edit them by putting them together to make one final product. You can edit books by finding spelling and grammar mistakes, videos by taking parts of the video out and putting other parts in, changing the colors in a video, things like that.
All right, so chroma keying is actually kind of a difficult word to understand.
Right.
So let's take a look. It's also another technique that people use for films and videos. Now, it's a kind of, it's when they put compositions or when they're compositing things. It means you put two layers of things together.
Okay.
So chroma here means color. So that's why they can change the different colors. It doesn't have to be green. When you key something, K-E-Y, it means to change something so it's suitable for a certain purpose. So chroma keying is the process of changing the color of something to make it work better with something else.
I think that was a very good explanation, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Okay, so what do you do if you need the color green in the movie, right? So, like if things are used behind green screens, how do you put the color green in the movie? So, we're going to find out. It says in the 2002 Spider-Man movie, for instance, a blue screen was used to make sure the Green Goblin's character wasn't altered during chroma keying. So we've got a green character and a green screen. We don't see him at all. Okay, so we use a blue screen. Now we use the phrase "for instance" in that sentence to give an example. It's another way of saying "for example," and you use it before you give the example. Like this. Today in English class, we learned about word forms. For instance, nouns, adjectives, and verbs.
We also saw the phrase make sure. Now it means to confirm something and to check to see if this is real or if it's true. For example, we can say you need to make sure the time of your flight.
Okay, so the editors of this Spider-Man film didn't want to change the Green Goblin's character. They didn't want to alter his character in editing. So when you alter something, you change it in some way. So when doing special effects for the Green Goblin, you don't want to use a green screen because then it's too easy to change the person. And you don't want to change the person. That's why you use a blue screen, because the Green Goblin is green. If you use the blue screen, you won't change the Green Goblin when you're editing. You'll only change the blue because it's easy to see.
That's right. And of course, it'd be weird if we had a pink goblin or a purple goblin.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense in Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he is in the comic books, right?
Exactly.
You can't just say, oh, the pink goblin. And then you're like, who's that?
Okay, well, luckily they can just change the screen. All right, so next it says, this process is applied to all sorts of media today. So this idea of chroma keying or using the green screen or blue screen applies to everything. So applies to somebody or applies to something. It's a phrase that means it's used in or it has something to do with that or someone else. So we can use this in all sorts of media. So it can be used in the TV, it can be used in the news and other kinds of media besides movies.
Right. Okay, so we said all sorts of media. Now this is another phrase, all sorts of something, and it's another way of saying many different kinds of something. Here we're saying you can use chroma keying in many different kinds of media, just like she said. So like she said, websites, TV, news, weather channels like that.
Yes.
Okay, now another example of this phrase could be, there are all sorts of snacks to buy in this convenience store. Chocolate, chips, cookies, bread.
Everything.
Everything, yeah.
All right, next it says, anything ranging from weather forecasts to fantasy TV shows regularly uses it to create artistic special effects. So everybody uses this technique of using the green screen. So we mentioned weather forecasts and we mentioned even fantasy TV shows. They all use this technique.
Like Game of Thrones.
Well. Yeah, they use a lot of green screens.
Right. Okay, so we did talk about weather forecasts. Now, a forecast is a noun, and it's a description of what you think will happen in the future. Now, you can make a forecast. You can make one by looking at the information you have now. And by using that information, we can say what we think will happen in the future. Now, we often use this with weather to say what the weather will be like in the future. So if it's cold today, maybe that means it's going to rain, or if there are a lot of clouds, maybe a big storm is coming, something like that.
All right, so we talked about fantasy TV. Now, fantasy is just basically anything like a book or a movie that tells a story in an imaginary world, so a world that isn't real. So we mentioned Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. These are all counted as fantasy stories because the worlds that they live in are not real.
Okay, well, we also said something about the word artistic. Now, artistic is an adjective, and something that's artistic, such as a design or a piece of art or a music arrangement, like a song or a dance, looks attractive and like it was done with special skill and imagination. You don't just see a white piece of paper with a black spot on it and say, oh, it's so artistic. It's just, I dropped my pen, right? But if you make a beautiful painting or a beautiful dance, it's very artistic. Here's an example. The way you arranged the people in this photo and the colors you used are very artistic.
So here, you learned a little secret now. So if you watch a movie and you see dragons and all these not real things, well, you know they must have filmed it in front of a green screen or a blue screen.
Right.
And now you know we are standing in front of a green
screen. Okay, well, it's time to go to our For You chat.